Morning, everyone. My random act of kindness for today is evaluating Karina on her 10th speech. I thought this was a wonderful opportunity to evaluate Karina on her 10th speech until I realized what actually I was being tasked with. I was being tasked with evaluating her. Okay, so first, Karina's job, her task is to inspire and motivate us. However, if you read the fine print says that the speaker is to be genuine. You're supposed to, how can I evaluate Karina, who's so descriptive, so detailed, and find out or identify if she's being spurious or not? That's one. Karina, I would like to challenge you to come up and inspire us to improve our lives, personally motivate us to make a change, save the whales.
Today, Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, I will be giving my 10th speech. Yes, thank you. It is a long time awaiting, and I am just as nervous as the rest of you giving speech number 1. My speech. Common theme today. With that, I will be talking about community service into the community. But just as my title says, by our youth. Community service is such a rewarding task and feeling. Beth did an awesome job basically doing my speech for me. I just can't believe it. However, I want to do a different twist to it. We as adults, sometimes we forget what our younger generation can do. Generation Z is specifically where I'm talking about. Our younger ones, our 10, 11, 9-year-olds are where I'm kind of hitting today. They've what have inspired me to have generosity in a different way. I thought I was generous. They've given me a perspective of true compassion, true empathy for what their cause is, what they're trying to hit on there. Some of you may know, not sure, I've given a couple speeches on it. I'm a co-leader for Girl Scouts. Woohoo, love it. Love the Girl Scout organization. Maybe not dealing with the political side of it, but the purpose is the girls and what we're learning from and can teach them. And I just said from, because they've a portion of what's inspired me. If you're not familiar with the Girl Scouts or Boy Scouts, one of their top missions is community service. Community service work is a part of their promise, that they will uphold the community and be a friend to all fellow people, specifically girls, but it's all people, is really what it's pointing out. The girls are tasked. Our juniors this year were tasked with coming up with something. Yes, we're the adults, we're guiding them. However, they're the ones brainstorming. Our juniors came up with graffiti cleanup. That was their brainstorming. Another girl suggested it, they jumped on. The day of that morning when we went and did that graffiti cleanup, I was amazed. There was no complaining that we were up at 7 in the morning to do this. There was nothing. It was, they rallied around each other to get this task done. And you know what? They did it. And they were eagerly wanting to do more. They cleaned up. They didn't have to clean up that downtown home that was tagged and trashed and had beer bottles and everything, but they did it without hesitation. They almost made it seem like that's what they were, truly there for. Complete compassion is what I saw. I also just realized in that moment that they didn't have to be told anything. Like a typical 9-year-olds or 10-year-olds have to be, come on, let's get this done. No. I sometimes get jaded by community service because I'm like, we just did this and then no one cares. I got that feeling from that community service work for a week later going back and seeing that home was tagged all over again. I took it hard because I saw what the girls felt afterwards. They want to do it again. It took a while before we addressed that issue with the girls. I think more because of me. But when we did tell them recently, they looked at us and said, so when are we doing it again? When are we going back? Like nothing. I'm like, oh my gosh, you guys just slapped me in the face because I thought you would take it hard. I thought you guys would be upset. They looked at me and said, aren't we helping the community? Yes. Dylan Beal is a little boy that I was reading about. I did several research of the Generation Z stories. Dylan Beal is one of those little boys that's touched my heart in reading his story. He just wants to help people, is what he said. And when he learned about our veterans and how so many of them live off of ramen noodles alone, upset him so much. He himself organized a food drive that helped the Saginaw County Food Pantry. He didn't ask for anyone to do it. No one told him to do it, but he did it. And he's feeding these veterans, making sure they have protein, they have food on their table, other than just eating ramen noodles. And yet they asked him, why are you doing this? And he says, why not? They defend us. Why aren't we taking care of them? The compassion, the empathy. He doesn't even realize he's 11 years old, and yet some of us adults don't even realize it. We give out of obligation, but are we giving out of generosity that Beth just told us about? Are we giving truly out of our heart? Are we giving to just give face? Yes, I donate. Yes, I volunteer. But are you truly doing it from your heart? William Winslow is another student out of North Carolina. He goes to school. He's 8 years old. Now 8. He learned that some of his classmates go home hungry. He was saddened by that. 8 years old, and he arranged for 16 kids to be fed for the next year. His donation alone, his drive alone, is feeding 16 kids for the next year because he didn't like how his classmates were being hungry when they went home. He thought it was sad. I go home and I have dinner on my table, and yet they don't. He amazed me. His story absolutely amazed me. His 8th birthday, when he wanted to celebrate, just like every other little kid, who doesn't like to celebrate their birthday? But in place of presents, he had a back-to-school backpack drive. Again, oh my God, you're 8. I love gifts. But do you really need them? I can buy that. Do I really need someone to buy me something? Or to say, that's great, you were born. No, just celebrate life. Celebrate your birthday every day. And again, he just says, I'm doing what just helps. These kids need it. They're my fellow peers. And I want to be a part of them. I want them to feel the happiness and love that God has given me. I'm just showing compassion because that's what I was taught. There are thousands and thousands of stories. I could be on the internet. I can go see many things and just hear the constant stories of what our younger generation have done and or are still doing today. But it makes me sit back and think, am I doing everything I'm doing for a good purpose? Am I doing everything that I was put on this earth to do? Am I doing random acts of kindness because I want to or because someone asked me to? I want to do it because I want to. I want to give someone something because I want to, and that's where I see the need. I read a little quote, and I'll pull out because I get tongue twisted saying it, and it says, you don't have to make a huge change in the world to make a huge difference. in the world. Such simplicity of what these kids already know. Sometimes we think we have to do it bigger and better. We have to give more. We have to arrange the bigger contest of, who can raise the most money. But are you doing it for the right reasons? Make sure everything you're doing is for the right reasons. And that's what I'm learning from these kids. Whether it's picking up trash, the simplicity of just doing it, make sure you're doing it because you're doing it for a good reason. And because that's what your heart desires, not because someone said it out of obligation to do it. In conclusion, I say, make sure we're all giving in some way, because generosity is also not out of obligation. Madam Toastmaster. I'm done.
That's awesome, Brenda. Congratulations on your tip speech. Okay, to